Tyson Fury labors to a 12-round unanimous points decision win over Otto Wallin in Las Vegas. Fury came out in the first round, feinting a lot as usual, popping a jab, moving around the ring, looking for angles. But to me, it was immediately apparent that Fury lacked his usual edge. You know, he just wasn't quite as sharp as we're accustomed to seeing him, particularly in big fights. And I suspect that Fury is one of those kind of fighters who needs to feel that he's in some kind of danger in order to bring the best performance out of him, in order to be sharp. He needs to feel some kind of threat from his opponent. And I'm talking about in the lead up to a fight, in training camp. His mind has to be switched on. So when he's fighting a Vladimir Klitschko or a Deontay Wilder, he's super switched on and super alert because he knows those guys can knock down a house with their right hand. He didn't feel that same sense of danger against Otto Wallin. And I think that's the reason why even in the first couple rounds, it wasn't quite as sharp as normal, you know? And you can't get yourself mentally up for a fight during a fight. You have to get yourself mentally up during training camp, you know? You have to get yourself in that kind of mindset long before the opening bell. So anyway, the first couple rounds went by. Fury won the rounds. Wallin acquitted himself adequately. He's competent, certainly not spectacular. And I'll get on to more about what I think about Wallin later in this video. But yeah, Wallin acquitted himself well, even though he lost the first couple rounds. He wasn't getting hit with too many silly shots, although I think he got hurt at the end of the second. Wasn't getting caught with too many silly shots. He was, holding his defense together quite well. His positioning was, fairly decent. But as I say, Fury won the first couple rounds. The drama all started in the third round. Again, another round Fury was winning, but then Otto Wallin caught him with a left hand while Fury backed into a corner. And that left hand opened an enormous gash over Tyson Fury's right eye. And from there on in, Fury was having blood running into his eye and he just could not see what the hell was going on. It was deemed to be caused by a punch, not a clash of heads, which means that it could have ended by TKO in Otto Wallin's favor. I think, depending on the commission, if it goes past a certain number of rounds, it can end by TKO in Wallin's favor. So must have been very, very anxious moments for Tyson Fury when he got that terrible gash over his right eye. It was impeding his vision, and Otto Wallin was spurred on by that. Now, Otto Wallin was already confident. You could tell the way he shaped up when he came out for the first round that he was confident. He came there to win. He wasn't somebody who came to lie down. So as limited as Otto Wallin is, he put his foot on the gas when he saw that Tyson Fury was struggling to see. And he tried to turn it into a dogfight. But, Fury came for it. And there was a pivotal moment, I think, when the doctor came and inspected the cut over Fury's eye. And I think at that moment, Fury realized, you know what? I'm going to have to put a beating on this guy. I might have to get him out of here because I can't let them stop it on a TKO. And if Tyson Fury wasn't the star attraction, this fight might have got stopped on a TKO in Otto Wallin's favor. So, there must have been some anxious people at ringside, and anxious Bob Arum, anxious ESPN and BT Sport, hoping that, look, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that doctor and the referee not to stop the fight. But, if it was anywhere else, it could have been stopped. So Fury came out after the doctor looked at his cut and he tried to go for the knockout, putting the pressure on, using his physical strength. It kind of turned into the Steve Cunningham fight all over again. Yeah, where he abandoned the long range boxing and he was just trying to attack and get Otto Wallin, either knock him out or get the fight under control as soon as possible. Because when you've only got one eye and he's constantly having to dab his eye, that takes away from your concentration and your opponent's going to be able to get more shots off against you. So yeah, it was a tough situation for Tyson Fury to have suffered that cut. The fight went on. Fury imposed his size and his strength on Wallin, and Wallin did fade towards the back end of the fight. He actually had a pretty decent 12th round, Otto Wallin. But other than that, Fury was winning the majority of the rounds with his, just strength and willpower. He got through it and won a well-deserved unanimous decision on the scorecards. Now, as far as Otto Wallin and what I think of him, he did well to go the distance with Tyson Fury. He did get buzzed noticeably a couple of times. Certainly at the end of that second round, he backed up after Fury had caught him with some nice shots. Would he have gone the distance with Fury if he hadn't landed a left hand which cut Fury's eye? Maybe he would have done. Wallin looks tough to me. I'm not saying he's got an iron jaw. You know, if it had been Deontay Wilder in there hitting him with right hands rather than Tyson Fury, he probably would have been stretched out on the canvas. But yeah, he's tough. He believes in himself, Otto Wallin. He's well schooled, but he's unspectacular. You know, I expected Tyson Fury to have an easier time of it than he actually did. I'm not going to lie. I thought, you know, maybe Wallin might be able to go 7 rounds or something if he's got a real good chin, maybe 12. So he did do better than I expected. But how much of that was due to the cut and how much of that was due to Tyson Fury just not quite being as sharp as normal, not quite having that edge? Because again, I noticed it in the first couple rounds, even before the cut, they didn't quite have that edge about him. So yeah, I don't see Otto Wallin. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but from what I saw in this fight, I don't see Otto Wallin as one of the top heavyweights out there. I don't see it. I think, again, he's strong, he's tough, he's game, he'll have a go. He's competent, but he's not particularly fast. He's in shape, I guess, and that's always good, you know, but not particularly fast. Tends to throw 1 or 2 punches at a time. Not really a great combination puncher. Not very fluid. He knows what he's doing in the sense that he's not completely one-dimensional. You know, he does know what he's doing. He got on his bike a few times and tried to draw Fury onto shots as well as coming forward. So, yeah, he's defensively responsible, but an unspectacular fighter, Otto Wallin. I don't see this guy as a threat to the supremacy in the division. I mean, it is, as I've said, a golden age of heavyweight boxing, and you never know, even a guy like Otto Wallin, who is not extremely talented, maybe he can pull off an upset at some stage. But when you look at a Deontay Wilder, you can see the talent. When you look at Tyson Fury, you can see the talent. I know this wasn't his best performance, and he looked very ragged and very slow and sluggish the longer this fight went on. Again, kind of like the Steve Cunningham fight, okay? Very well aware of that. But Tyson Fury at his best, you can see the talent. Even Anthony Joshua, as vulnerable as he is, you can see the talent there. The way he's able to throw combinations, you know, there's power in both hands, the right and the left. Yeah, Luis Ortiz, even Andy Ruiz. His counter-punching ability on the front foot, Ruiz, is excellent. Got very fast hands. With Otto Wallin, you don't really see any particular talent there. Just a basic heavyweight who's tough in game. Yeah, and in shape too. So, yeah, that's what I think about it. On that performance right there, Tyson Fury would have stood a very good chance of losing to any of the top 5, top 6 guys. Yeah. And as such, I think that a lot more people are going to believe that Wilder is going to beat Fury in the rematch because of this performance here. And I think that actually works in Tyson Fury's favor. I think the more people who doubt him, the better he's going to perform. I think Tyson Fury likes being the underdog. And as I say, he likes feeling a sense of danger from his opponent. So there's definitely not going to be a fight for Tyson Fury in December now because that cut was absolutely horrendous. And I also have to mention it's yet another occasion where Tyson Fury has been getting caught on his right side. He's susceptible to left hooks and left hands from southpaws. I mentioned this in my post-fight review for the Tom Schwartz fight, if you remember. Even though it was a very short fight, I noticed that Schwartz caught him with a couple left hooks. So Fury is this guy who is lauded for his defensive ability, but there's a vulnerability in that defense. Yeah, on Fury's right side. So if you hit him with straight left hands or left hooks, I'm not saying everyone is going to land, but he appears to be more vulnerable on that side than he is on his left side. Earlier on in his career, it was right hands he was usually getting caught with. If you remember, when he fought Chisora in the first fight, he got caught with a lot of right hands. When he fought Nikolai Firther, he got caught with right hands in that fight. He got dropped by Nevin Pikage with a right hand, got dropped by Steve Cunningham with a right hand. But since that time, he seems to have concentrated on tightening up his defense against right hands, because he went pretty much 10 rounds in the Wilder fight avoiding Wilder's right hand, and Wilder threw loads of right hands at him. Same in the Klitschko fight. Even though Klitschko wasn't really letting his hands go like that, the right hands that he did throw, Fury, for the most part, was able to avoid him. So Fury seems to have done a lot of work on avoiding right hands, but I think he's going to need to do more work on avoiding left hooks or straight left hands. Yeah, because he appears to be more vulnerable on that side. And, the Tom Schwartz fight only went 2 rounds, and he was getting caught on the left side in a 2-round fight against a very poor opponent. Yeah, so that's something which astute minds, either trainers or opponents, are going to key in on. So Tyson Fury needs to tighten up his right side, which would be, the opponent's left side. So yeah, gonna have to look at that. But other than that, not much else to say really about this performance from Tyson Fury. It was a workmanlike performance with a terrible cut. It was a crisis, let's be real. It was a crisis getting cut like that, because again, it could have got stopped on a TKO after a few rounds. But he got through it, he did what he had to do. But as I've said countless times on this channel, nobody is going to dominate this heavyweight division. Tyson Fury's not going to dominate the division. Wilder's not going to dominate the division. Ruiz ain't going to dominate the division. Joshua ain't going to dominate the division. It's going to be a round robin type situation. A rock, paper, scissors heavyweight division. That's what we're going to see at the top. If you think that all the upsets are over and the only one we're going to see was Ruiz beating AJ, oh no. You're in for more rude awakenings. We're going to see more upsets. All of these top guys are vulnerable. Fury's vulnerable. Wilder's vulnerable. AJ, we know. Even Ruiz, vulnerable in a different way. So that's what I'll say about that. And drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you felt about Tyson Fury's performance. I've actually watched the fight twice now. First time watching it, it seemed more dramatic. Second time watching it, because first time, watching it usually seems more dramatic. But second time watching it, yeah, it wasn't as bad as it looked first time around, It was just, the cut definitely changed a lot. Allowed Wallin into the fight. Fury couldn't see. Yeah, it was what it was. But Fury definitely needs a challenge. And he's not going to be fighting in December. Need plenty of time to heal. Going into the rematch, Deontay Wilder might want to look at throwing some left hooks. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the shot that dropped Fury in the 12th round, it was a right hand followed by a left hook. Yeah, that right hand finally landed. But I think Deontay Wilder needs to focus more on his jab, not be so anxious to land right hands against Fury, because that backfired on Wilder in the first fight. That's why he was so tired late on, because he'd wasted too much energy missing right hands. Yeah. What he needs to do is focus on his jab. It's like the old saying goes, and Paulie Malignaggi loves this old saying. You can't hook with a hooker, but you can jab with a jabber. Deontay Wilder needs to focus on landing his jab and be patient against Fury in the rematch. Yeah. Tyson Fury needs to make sure that Wilder is not patient. He needs to goad him. He needs to get him to unload those right hands as much as possible early in the fight. Get him to expend energy. Get him to make mistakes so Fury can capitalize and maybe catch him with some big shots. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting going into that rematch. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I've seen some people shout out to Devon Sinclair. Some people say that Fury's defense is a myth and that the only reason he didn't get hit a lot in the Klitschko fight is because Klitschko didn't let his hands go. And I tend to agree with that. I think I've said something along those lines myself. I wouldn't go as far as saying that his defense is a myth, but I do think that people go overboard when it comes to Tyson Fury's defense. You can hit him, particularly on the left side. Deontay Wilder was so over anxious for the majority of his fight against Fury that he was telegraphing his moves before he made them. That's why Fury was able to duck and move out the way. Yeah? somebody who doesn't telegraph the right hand so much, somebody who's not so anxious to hit Fury on the chin, they may well have more success with landing shots on him. Yeah, Otto Wallin certainly managed to land more clean shots on Tyson Fury in the first, 4 or 5 rounds than Deontay Wilder did in terms of power punches. Wilder landed some nice jabs on Fury in the first 4 or 5 rounds, but in terms of power punches to the head, Wilder wasn't having no success. Otto Wallin did have a bit of success, again, because he wasn't out there recklessly throwing, wild, silly shots because he was so desperate to knock the guy out. He boxed his way into the fight. And I think if you've got a big guy, guy who's nearly as tall as Fury, 6'6 plus, one of the top guys who boxes their way into the fight, I think you're going to see that Tyson Fury's defense isn't quite as watertight as some people have been making it out to be. It's still a good defense, don't get it twisted. But there are ways to penetrate it. Yeah, you're going to have to let your hands go, but you're going to have to let your hands go in an educated fashion. Klitschko obviously was far too cautious. Wilder was far too gung-ho. You're going to need to be somewhere in the middle. Need to use your jab a lot against Fury to set things up. And, you may find that you'll have some success. But yeah, Fury, in terms of his improvement, just tighten up on the right side. Don't get caught with hooks and straight left hands and whatnot. And Fury really should concentrate on the big fights now. He got paid apparently $19 million for this fight. That's what was reported. An incredible amount of money to be getting paid against this level opponent, particularly when this ain't selling no pay-per-views. BT Sport ain't making no big money from this fight. ESPN ain't going to make no big money from this fight. In fact, they probably lost a lot of money from the fight. There looked to be a lot of people in the arena, but how many of those were comps? How many tickets were actually sold? And in fact, if he really did get $19 million, not only is that more than he got against Deontay Wilder, that's actually the same amount that him and Wilder combined got paid for their fight. Their first fight with each other. So, ESPN with this deal really are, if reports are true, paying Tyson Fury a fortune even to fight lower tier opposition. So it's good work if you can get it, Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know some people are going to be more harsh on Tyson Fury than me. I didn't think it was that bad. He looked sluggish, yes, and he looked slow and clumsy even at times later on in the fight. But again, he was worried about the fight being stopped on the cut, so he was trying to get his man out of there. And he was going for the knockout, which is not really Fury's game, and it's not really his style. When he used to do that earlier on in his career, he was always getting clipped, which is why he doesn't tend to do it so much these days. He likes to box, So every fighter has strengths and weaknesses. Up close, the stuff that Fury was trying to do, like marching in and overpowering him, Anthony Joshua was better at stuff like that. All right. Andy Ruiz excluded. If you see Anthony Joshua when he overpowered Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua when he was in there hitting Carlos Takam up close with shots, so on and so forth. Joshua was better at that kind of style that Fury was trying to implement against Otto Wallin. Do you understand? Different fighters have got different strengths and weaknesses. So I don't think it was that bad from Fury. I just think he needs a better opponent to get him up for fights, because if he continues in between the big fights, taking on the Wallins of the world and these unheralded opponents, one of them's going to beat him. That's what's going to happen. So he needs to go for the big fights, the most dangerous fights, and concentrate on that. There's going to be big money for those anyway. That's what I think. Don't get yourself beaten by a Wallin type character. You can avoid that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.